Hello, and welcome to the word challenge. My name is Lisbeth, and I'm a Danish abstract mixed media artist. I know I said in my last video I was going to take at least 14 days holiday, perhaps 3 weeks, but yeah, I have been participating in this word challenge all year long until now, and I haven't been videoing it every week, only when I'm home. And I am home this Saturday, so I will break my little holiday rules a little and making a video for this challenge this week here. The other weeks where I haven't been home, I have done the challenge anyway, but not on video. And if I was taking 3 weeks holiday and not doing anything, I would be 3 weeks behind. And I know when the season starts up again, that is tough to be on time again. So I decided to do it anyway. So don't say bad things to be about. You should take a holiday and so on. I know, and I am having a holiday, but as Libby, my friend from Australia, said, aren't you going to take holidays right now? But yeah, I am. But I can't sit on my flat bum or lie in the sun for 14 days, 3 weeks, or not doing nothing. That's not me. I have to do something. And then some of the things will be preparations for later, and that is fine. So yeah, enough of that. This word challenge isn't my invention, it is Rita Sommer's invention, and you can find her links under the little word more here in the video. And you can also find links for the playlist for all the other weeks where I've done videos here with the word challenge. But shortly told, Rita picks up a little, not a little, but a word from a little pot every week, and then you can interpret it as ever you exactly as you wish to do. She suggested, what was it? 12 by 12 centimeters, I think, or was it 4 by, no, it can't be 4, 5, yeah, 5 by 5, I can't remember. Mine is a little bigger, but that is because that is what I like to work on, this 14 by 14 centimeters, because last year I did a challenge, the Stitch Circle Show Challenge 2025, and this was also this format, so I'm so used to working in this format, and it fits exactly in my book, or my second book here, because every week I put my small pieces in here, so when the year is over, I have two books filled with great inspiration. And I'm going to make a cover so I can stick them in and have them they can live there. Yeah, that is. But links here under the little word more for the different things I'm talking about. So let us jump into it and see here where my piece is going to be there. So away with that, it can lie there for now. And you probably also, if you have been following along here, know I have chosen to do only black, white and red in this challenge. And I have been shooting myself in the foot. I know that, because it is not always easy to such straight limitations, but I will keep on doing it because that is a challenge in itself, having these quite strict color rules here. But it will be as it will be, and so some weeks I really like my pieces, and some weeks I don't like them particularly much, but perhaps it is like this with everything, except with your children. I think that was a side note. Yeah, but I can tell you now what the word is, and the word is pleat. And when I hear the word pleat, I can tell you what I think. I immediately think of the years where it was very modern to have skirts with a lot of pleats. And I have, in my younger days, been attending some sewing courses where we made our own clothes or garments. And I have at one point made such a skirt where there was pleats and they were not bigger than that, and there was a lot of them. And at that time I was not so chubby as I am now, but I don't think many pleats does something good for your figure these days. So that was the first thing I was thinking about. And then I got thinking about, if you have lived so long as I have, and I have been doing things all my life and saving things, I know I somewhere in a box had a kind of ribbon or braid, or I don't know what you can call it. It is something I can't even remember where I got it from, but this piece, and this is pleat by pleat by pleat here. So of course this has to go in my piece today, a piece of that. I don't know where and here, how and so right now. So that is one thing I know will be in. And then I have this very, very thin silk organza in red, because I at some point had been heat treated it. You know, you could put buttons and nuts and buttons and other things in, and like when you're doing shibori, bind them off, and then you can damp them, and then it keeps that look. So it's a piece from that time, but I think it is easy to make layer by layer by layer of pleats, so call them what you will, but I don't think I want them in a straight pattern. With the same amount of space between or something. I think I really want to more like squeezing it, but of course you can say this is a pleat, this there, and that should be here somewhere. And then I found this little piece. I made a scroll at one point in black, red and white, and there were some leftover pieces, and that is one of these leftover pieces. So I have these three things I will have to put, or not have to, but I would like to put in my square here. So this is what I have to work with, and of course I have my different threads also. So the first thing I want to do is, because this is quite flimsy, I don't like to stitch only into this. It's just a normal cotton, nothing fancy about that, but I like to have a layer under. So again, I've just taken a piece from an old duvet cover, and this is washed. I bought it in a second-hand store, and it is so smooth and so it's nice to stitch into. So I always invisible base that down, and yeah, you have seen me done this 1,000 times, but if you're new here, you come up and you go about 1 centimeter ahead of you, make there, and then you go a couple of threads back and come up about 1 centimeter ahead of you there. And I know you can't hardly see it because it's black, but believe me when I say there are some tiny small dots or pricks, or what we can call them, and that is nearly invisible. And here in this black it is invisible. Nobody will think that there is a piece behind here. And this is a very nice way of stitching layers together without being able to see it. And I use it a lot, and I have learned it, as I said in one of my earlier videos, from an old friend who was an extremely clever seamstress. So I learned it by her. And in Danish we call it usynlig risting. Some English people also, especially people who are sewing their own garments and so, call them prick stitches. They have been on here for, yeah, I think as long as people have been making their own clothes. So I will just do this all the way around, and then this piece is ready. So now it's just start playing. The funny thing about having some of this somewhere is when you've been saving so many things and you're getting older, the problem is you can't remember where you put them. So I've been looking up and down in all my boxes and so, but luckily I found it, because I really think it needs it is so nice, suitable for this little piece here. But let us see if I think about putting this there. I think perhaps this could go up there, and I cut it off there. Then I need some of the red in here. I can also put that on later. Perhaps it is easier if I just cut a smaller piece out here. And sorry, yeah, that wasn't so bad, like when it is normal cotton. It is so flimsy, so flimsy. So yeah, I don't know how to attach this without using some needles, or what on earth can I do? Let me see if I have some of these needles, and because I also have to figure out which color I want to sew it down with, and oh yeah, I don't know that yet. Let us see some of these small applique needles here. Just stick one in here. Yeah. There, and then we have this up here, perhaps. Let me see. Yeah, I'm sure I can rumble around with that here for a long time, but yeah. And I like this fluffy feathered edge here, and yeah, I would have liked to not have that black space there. Instead, I could also do this. If I instead, let me see here. Sorry, I'm just playing and see what I like and what I don't like. Yeah, I think I like this. I would really like to be able to see this red thing there. So let me grab my glue stick and just give this a couple of dots here. There. And is this enough here to cover this and this? Yes, it is. So this is the last thing I would sew on. So now I think I will just invisible base this down, and this here, yeah, what do I want? Do I want to sew it with black or white? This I could sew down the middle with the red thread. So I think I will use the off-white one here. Let us see how it looks. Because if I don't like it, I can always pick it up. I haven't any rule saying you're not allowed to pick up. I have had challenges where you weren't allowed to pick anything up, and that is really tough for some people, but you have to make the best of what you're doing. I will thread this needle here and then I will be back. I will see if I can bring you in a little closer here. I've just started there and make a small cross stitch, so I think that is what I will go for. Small cross stitches. To keep this red silk organza down. Yeah. I am not so keen on this straight edge here. I don't mind that, but this here. Let me see if I can come in here. I just use my nail to tuck it a little or under. Yeah. Yeah, and now I have to put this needle out here before I sew it in. If I not already have spin. Where is it? There it is. Out with you. You can't live there. But I will do this so many places. I think it is needed to keep the fabric down, and perhaps some other places too, like for instance here. So it looks nice and it keeps the red organza down. But a little cross stitch you all can do. That is not very difficult. Yeah. So let us go out here also. There, I'm jumping around, so the threads on the back is a little long, so don't pull it too tight. Your piece has to lie nice and flat. if you know what I mean. Yeah, like this. But I will continue all the way around here and be back when I'm done with that. So now this is attached with some small cross stitches, and I've just invisible basted it down there, there and there. Not there because this will be covering up with this. So how long, short do I want it? I can always cut more off. I can't extend it, so take it nap by nap, eller bite by bite, bit by bit. I think this is okay. And I think I will just sew here in the line that is there already. So yeah, a glue stick again for this. And you can see I have just, this thread here has been sewing all the way around here. It's just hanging there because I think I want to sew with that color in the red area there. So that's why I haven't secured it or bind it off. Just a little, just to keep it in place. There. And hopefully it will be sitting there. Sometimes I just do it like this from the back, rub it a little. There. There. I think that is nice. So I have been on with the cap here, or the lid. I have just been threading my needle with some red threads, a red thread. And do I want to only use cross stitches all the way here? Cross stitches down there, cross stitches in each of the small black areas with red, and there with white, and there with red, or do I just want a line? Yeah. And do I want a thicker line? I want to be able to see it, so perhaps I will start to make it double here and see what happens. Yeah, and then I will just go for back stitches, I think. I know I said cross stitches, but I think it's too much when I have a... that is chunky to stitch through. But it is me who is in charge here. So I'm stitching up through a lot of layers here. So I won't say it's pleasant, but we will do this for the art. There. Yeah, I really like that. That is so thick, that line there. So I will stitch all the way here to the end, and then I can show it to you. That's not the thin red line, that is the thick red line, and I really like it. So now I just threaded my needle with the leftover thread here, and I will do some cross stitches here in the red paint. It is acrylic paint, and that was before I made this long before I had any experience in printing fabrics, and there isn't any textile medium or anything in it. Here it goes okay because it's a quite thin layer, but I've talked about it earlier. I have a big art quilt I made where I also painted all my fabrics with acrylic paint and with no textile medium in, and oh my, that was not nice to stitch into. And I of course stitched into the fabric with the acrylic paint, and then there was a batting, and then there was the back fabric also, so I nearly hurt my thumb and my arm here, so it took me several months to go back to normal. And even now, sometimes when I've been stitching for too long time or in too heavy things, I can feel it, and so you have to take care of that. It has to be nice and easy to do. And here I'm not talking about making 6 small cross stitches, but if you stitch for hours and do it in tough things, there is a risk of damaging your fingers or your hands or your arm or your shoulder or whatever it sits when you're doing something for too long a time and too much. So take care of your hands if you want to be able to use them for as long as you live. So that was one lesson learned. So here I'm nearly done. So I just want to do something in the small black things there. So I think I will go for the red. There it is. There, and I'll just bury it here in between the layers, between the two pieces of fabric. I don't mind how my backs are looking. It's not like the old black school where the front and the back should be equal or nice or look the same. I really don't care. I think it kills all creativity. So now I have to find a black, no, not black, a red thread, because these small marks are not squarish, they are more like a rectangle. My small cross stitches will be narrow and wider, or if you look at that way, they are taller and narrower. So they will look a little different than the other. These are big and these are small, but it's cross stitches, but looking a little different, and that again makes the thing more exciting, I think. I'm not a fan of, even though you can hundreds of stitches, and I often meet students who teach me a new stitch, teach me a new stitch, teach me a new stitch, but that's not really the meaning, I think, because we all ended up having our favorites and like to use them, and that is so fine. And in such a little piece as this, I could have gone for 10 different stitches, but I think it ends up looking like a hot mess if you have too many different stitches, because here there are patterns there and different textures and textile textures, things, the surfaces very textile, so you don't need a ton of different stitches to make interesting pieces, in my humble opinion. Of course, it's a free world, you can do whatever you fancy to do, but it's the same as when I'm doing mixed media. To stop at the right time, don't overdo it. It's a little like that here with the stitches. Pick the favorite ones you have, and have perhaps 10 different ones you like to use, and use them, and then use them differently. But in the same family, you can say, of stitches. I think that is nice. And repeat them. Yeah. I didn't have enough thread, so I will just sew the last few ones, and then I will look at it and see if it needs more. But I don't think it needs much more. So this is how N30 ended up, and I'm quite satisfied with it. Lots of pleats there, and lots of pleats there, even though they perhaps not are so visible. But in real life they are. So now I will just find my book and glue it in. So here we go with the double-sided tape. And down with it here, there, and burnish it a little down. I struggled so much last year with this double-sided tape, but I've taken a wider roll here this year, and I think it is another brand. It is much easier to get the back side off, so I'm not struggling so much. So, oh, that was weak. Here, 30. So depth. Oh, now I think I spelled it wrong. D-E-A-P-T. Sorry, that was in Danish. Depth. Yeah. It isn't easy to speak English for a Danish girl, but it is not easy to write English. That is even more difficult. So here it is. I will take some close-ups and say a proper goodbye. I can only say my brain must have gone into summer vacation mode here, because it wasn't depth, it was pleat. Sorry ladies. So here it is, right? I hope you have found some inspiration in this video by me showing you how I choose to make this word challenge for the word pleated or pleat. And if you have, please give my video a thumbs up, and please consider subscribing my little Danish channel. Hit the notification bell if you want to get a notification when there are new videos coming up. Also, please give me a comment. I'd really like to be in touch with you who see the videos, and if you have anything you want to ask me, please do. I answer everybody who writes to me here in the comments. And one little peep here I forgot to say in the beginning. If anybody wants to support my channel, there are links here below under the video for my Ko-fi account and for my PayPal account, and you can support me that way. And in any way, don't feel obligated. And for those of you who has been supporting me, thank you from the bottom of my heart. And the last thing I want to say is please be playful and creative, and please be nice to yourself and people around you. Treat everybody like you want to be treated yourself. I think if you all were doing that, the world will be a better place for all of us. So bye bye for now, and see you soon again. Ciao ciao.